This conference will now be recorded.
Did you hear that too? See?
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, what's up? This is Ed with Capstone Realty. I am here with my buddy Bobby Akhbari from Amerilife. And if you hadn't guessed, Amerilife means he is the life insurance guy. He knocks it out of the park, helps us with life insurance, and helps our clients. And I wanted to bring Bobby in today. Bobby, thanks for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Look, yeah, it's super just chill. We're just gonna have a quick conversation about life insurance because I think it's important, and I think the stuff that you can bring is super, super, super important to a lot of our clients. Because sometimes, Bobby, like you'll drop a nugget, like when we're having a conversation, and it's something that I wish I had heard a long time ago. So yeah, so I want to make sure that, hey, if I could put something out there for our clients that I think is helpful, it's you talking about, hey, life insurance, why is it important? And again, kind of like we talked about earlier, like at different stages. So, hey, would you mind just giving me a quick overview of like, what do you do? What does your company do?
Sure. Yeah, I think when it comes to life insurance, there's a lot of misconceptions, right? And a lot of people, and I think this is something you and I were talking about, is that a lot of people misconceive that life insurance is for when you pass away, right? It's for the end of your life when you're gone and left behind for people to either, pay off debt, to live a legacy or fulfill your legacy of things you want to do in your life, whether that's sending kids to college, whether, family members, nieces, nephews, or just building the legacy of your name, right? And I think that's what's really missed in today's societies. I think a lot of people don't think that life insurance is not just giving someone money to offset costs if you're gone, but it can build a legacy, and that legacy can be anything you want it to be. I have clients that leave money for charity, and that charity will forever encapsulate their contribution. I have people that want to leave money behind for their cat, right? Believe it or not, I've had clients leave money for their cat because that's the only person they want to leave it to. But I think what's important is you want to leave a legacy, not money. And leaving a legacy in this capitalist society that we live in, some of that has to do with finance, and a lot of it has to do with finance and the legacy.
Totally, yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I think the thing that people misconceive about life insurance is it's for when you pass away, and it's not. Life insurance is really twofold. It's to protect your legacy, to protect your current assets for people that have, if you have a business, you have family you have to protect, you have a home you need to cover, or expenses and an income that needs to replace. There's that purpose, and that's what most people know life insurance as. The other side of life insurance is what we call tax-free retirement planning. And tax-free retirement planning is taking advantage of the current tax laws that allow you to save inside of a life insurance policy and use that money in retirement tax-free. So two types of accounts you can have, right? Really generally just two types of accounts in the world. When people think about retirement, they think about what's called tax deferred, and tax deferred is like a 401k. These are, pensions, Roths. These are accounts that you're going to pay tax on later on in life, or you've already paid.
So it defers the tax to later. Okay.
That's right. Very, very, like the easiest example to think about is doing a 401k. 401k are investments. I encourage my clients to contribute to 401ks, but 401ks inherently have a lot of risk because you as the employer are taking on all the risk, meaning if the market drops and is volatile, you're going to participate with that volatility of the market.
Okay, so the person that has the policy is riding the highs and lows of the 401k market, or the market in and of itself, and your 401k is going up and down with that, and that's the volatility.
Right, and the problem with that is that, when the 401k first was introduced in 1980-81, a 401k was intended to be 20-25% of your retirement portfolio, along with a pension, savings, real estate, which is a big portfolio structure and a pillar in retirement.
Is that also, how they, sorry for interrupting, so is that what they originally thought? Was it supposed to be only 25% of what you had at the end?
Yeah, that's right. So the gentleman that created the first 401k, he later retracted what he did. He actually wrote a book and said, I created a monster because what I intended to be a small retirement or part of your retirement has now become everyone's full retirement. I mean, 50% of Americans retire with no retirement, Ed. 50% have no retirement. A very few of that other 50 have an equivalent in retirement for what they're looking to do, their, what I call, their time horizon of when they want to retire. But more importantly, people are relying 100% on this 401k and they're contributing to it. So I believe you should contribute to a 401k, but you should contribute only the amount your company is willing to match. For example, if your company does a 2% or 4% match, only invest 4% of your money into that 401k. If someone says, well, why would I do that? Because we're matching money. If they're going to give us 4%, let's match 4%. Most people are actually giving more than the minimum or more than the match. And what I try to diversify and say, look, that is a tax deferred account. It's an account that one day you're gonna have to pay tax on. Not just that, but most 401ks are invested in stocks, mutual funds, bonds, accounts that go up and down and up and down, right?
Yep.
What I like to do is to show people that you can actually take some of the money that you're saving in your 401k, instead of putting in a 401k, diversify and put it inside of a whole life insurance policy that will build tax-free retirement planning cash for you. So that when you retire, you have what's called a tax deferred account. For example, like teachers have a 403b, anybody that works for a corporation has a 401k, but you should also have a tax deferred account or tax-free account like life insurance. Life insurance, the current tax IRS laws allow you to save money inside of a life insurance policy, earn interest equivalent to a guaranteed interest rate or an indexed interest rate, like like S&P 500, the NASDAQ. You can invest in any of the indexes, but these tax-free accounts, they have no risk. So instead of risking your 401k money that can lose money, inside of a life insurance, there's a zero floor that says that if the economy goes down, if the S&P 500 or whatever index we're invested in goes down, you get to keep what you've earned so far. You may not make money for that period of time because the economy is down, but you're not losing the money you've been saving.
Okay.
And life insurance comes out to a short-term play and a long-term play. A short-term play for life insurance is what's called an annuity. And most people are familiar with annuities, although they think they don't know them. The lottery is an annuity. The Social Security is an annuity. What is an annuity? An annuity is a financial instrument that you contribute money to or give a lump sum, and then they guarantee you payments for the rest of your life or a fixed period of time, like Social Security. That Social Security, you contribute to it in our taxes, and once you've filled your 40 quarters, which is 10 years of working, you've met your max Social Security, and now you can start to withdraw in retirement. We do the same thing in life insurance. So we'll take any amount of money that somebody wants to save or they want to put aside for retirement, we'll put it in a tax-free account that will earn an interest rate that's tied to an index. We contribute to that long-term for life insurance. Long-term meaning 10, 15, 20, 25 years, you're going to contribute to these accounts. Once you your time of how much you want to put in, you can now start to live off of the money that you've put in life insurance, plus the interest you've earned, and you never have to pay taxes on that interest.
So you never pay tax on the interest. Is that how people are buying real estate with insurance?
That's right. So when you have money inside of a whole life insurance policy, you are the banker. You're becoming the bank because you have money inside of an account that you can borrow from, you can loan from, you can use to finance real estate, homes, upgrades, purchasing new homes, investment properties. You can do anything you want with that money, and you legally do not have to pay that back.
Question. So what kind of returns are people really getting on something like that? Like, you know, if you have money sitting over here and you've got some money over here burning a hole in your pocket and you're like, should I buy a whole life policy and expect to get returns on it, or how does that look? Like, what's that look like?
Well, you got two options when it comes to investing inside of a whole life or a life insurance policy. You have a guaranteed interest rate that you can choose, which is around 4% currently. So you're getting a guaranteed 4%. No matter what happens to the economy, no matter what happens to the stock market, you're going to get that guaranteed 4%. Okay, this is a fixed rate. Or you can go into what's most popular today is called an indexed life insurance policy, which means the policy is for your whole life, but instead of investing it into a whole life that gives you guaranteed 4, you're going to go into, example, the S&P 500. However that performs in a year, you're going to have those returns. They're going to average around 7%. Currently, it's about 6 to 7% return on index products. So this 6 to 7%, people might say, well, 6 to 7% is not a huge return if we're talking long term. But what needs to be considered, and most people don't consider, is that is 6 or 7% that you're not being taxed on every year. So it's triple compounding interest. But more importantly, when you retire, whether that's 10 years from now, 15, 20, 25 years from now, when you retire, your lump sum, your pool of cash that you've accumulated is all tax-free, right? So someone that's had $1 million in a 401k and $1 million in their life insurance policy, these are not the same. These two things are not the same. One is apples, one's oranges, because your 401k $1 million is taxable at an income of 30% around. Your 401 or your life insurance that has $1 million equivalent is all tax-free. The interest, the money you've applied, the interest earned, whatever distributions will come out to you tax-free as loans.
The money you put in for the tax policy, for the life insurance policy, was after tax dollars. that you were using. Okay. You mentioned something triple, what did you say? You said triple compound interest. What's that?
So the money you're putting into your life insurance every month, a portion goes out to what's called M&E, mortality and expense charges. This is what it costs to have the policy. So a small portion.
How much does that cost? Like, what's the cost of the policy? What do they usually cost?
It's tough. It's all about how much insurance you buy. So somebody that buys a $100,000 policy is going to have less expenses than somebody who buys $1 million. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's all based on your age and the time of applying, which is why the best candidates for life insurance, really the best candidates are children, right? Because they're going to triple compound for 20, 30, 40 years. But if you're between the ages of 30 and 55, life insurance makes sense for you because now you're going to find triple compounding interest. How does that work? The money you're contributing every month, the portion that goes directly to your cash value, that's earning your interest rate. Whatever that interest rate is based on how the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Bloomberg, whatever index we choose together, you're going to make whatever interest is tied to that.
Okay.
But on top of the money that you're putting in, the interest you make every year is also making interest. So it's compounding on the interest.
Okay.
So the fact that it's making
interest, right?
on the interest on the money you're applying, and the fact that when you do these type of accounts, they are tax deferred, so you're not having to pay taxes on that money, gives you that triple compounding effect. So it's you're making money on your money, you're making money on the interest, and then you are not paying taxes on the interest that's earned.
I got you. So there's the three things.
That's right. And that it's that compounding effect that the IRS understands gives you those advantages, those tax advantages. You know, the IRS book is 9,000 pages long. It's 9,000 pages of codes. There's only one page dedicated to life insurance that makes life insurance an untaxable event. It's the only untaxable event in your life. And what most people don't know is this is how very, very wealthy people do what's called generational wealth giving. So most people are going to get taxed when they pass the money along. Even if people like your clients that have properties that have diversified and have not just their main property or what we call their residence, but they also have these rental properties. They're bringing income on this property, and some people are going to pass that to their beneficiaries as part of their estate. What we try to do is we try to make sure that not all of your estate is taxable. So although you had an IRA or a 401k that rolled over and you passed to your beneficiaries, you had properties, whether it's your primary or it's rental properties, you passed to your beneficiaries. When you look at our realm on the life insurance side, what we're saying is everything you do is taxable. Let's find an area or diversification tool that is not taxable, so that in the event in the future, you're paying all these taxes, and we don't know where taxes are going to go, right? Taxes are not very high right now, Ed. We're at a $23 trillion debt. How does debt get paid? Most people don't realize this. How does our national debt get paid down? It's taxes. That's it. It doesn't come anywhere from taxes, right? So we know we're in a $23 trillion debt. It's not getting better. And taxes are pretty fairly low right now, especially inheritance taxes, meaning the money you pass, when you pass money to your children, when you pass money in properties, that rate changes of how much they're taxed. Well, right now we're at a low tax rate, and we're the highest money owed on the country. What we got to figure out is, look, that's going to get worse and worse. Doesn't matter who's in office, doesn't matter what policies are in place. Income tax is going to go higher and higher as time progresses. Our goal is to diversify and find ways in retirement to have what's called tax-free retirement.
Okay, so to that point, is now typically not the best time that people are thinking of whole life policies because the interest rates are so low? Are they thinking more about this when interest rates are higher or taxes are higher? So when taxes are higher, they're thinking whole life is a much better option? Or why aren't more people talking about this? Like, that's,
Good question. It's an education thing, right? I often tell people, look, I'm an insurance agent, been doing 16 years, but I wish when I was young, my parents had set aside $50 to $100 a month inside of one of these type of policies, tax-free retirement policies. Because that money, when you're a child and your expenses are very low, right? We talked about the mortality expenses low on life insurance when you're young. Well, when that's low, when you save for 20 years, and then you leave that policy to run out the next 20 years, you pay payments for 20 years. Now the policy is just accumulating cash over the next 20 years. Your children are, 40, 45. At this point, they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars set aside inside of a tax-free retirement that they don't have to wait for retirement to use. They can start today using, meaning they can start buying homes, rental properties, investments, helicopters, taking trips. You can do anything you want with this money because it's after-tax money. and you can choose to become your own banker. Why do more people not do it? Because more people aren't out there like you, right? There takes more people to educate the masses than there are people like me that are in the business and understand life insurance is not just a tool you use for when you pass, but it can be something to take advantage of tax-free.
Okay, so this sounds like something that a financial planner wouldn't necessarily push someone towards as well, because it doesn't benefit the financial planner. Is that correct?
That's correct, right? Without, we try to stay, this is a fun, fun space, but financial advisors are good at what they do, and I recommend using a good financial advisor.
Totally. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, okay, why? Because people are going to say, well, why doesn't my financial planner, if this is so great, why doesn't my financial planner bring it up? And it's like, that's why, right? It's like, because they're not making money on it. So why would they encourage that? Yeah.
Right. Money under management, for anyone that's had any money under management, doesn't matter who you have your money with, what firm, what person, there's a fee associated with that money under management. It is a rolling commission, right? It's what we call trails in the industry, trails of income that come in every year. Well, financial advisors get paid on each client's lump sum so if your money represents a pie chart, they're making a percentage on your entire pie chart. When that pie chart has life insurance inside of it, that's a portion they are not making money on every single year, or the money they're making is so low that they don't account for it, right? Because in life insurance, our clients are not paying us commissions. Commissions are paid by the company. So if a client comes in and says, how much will it cost to work with you? The client's never going to spend any money out of pocket to work with me. The companies pay us to help the clients with the right products.
Yeah.
Well, if financial advisors want to keep making trails on people's money, the way I look at it is I'd rather set somebody up with something that's secure and they have for the rest of their life, and they don't have to manage paying some of their wealth towards every single year, right? Because if you're paying 1% to manage your money, and your money, you have $1 million, and 20 years from now you have $10 million, well, that commission they're making on you has also grown over 20 years, right? And a lot of times what I tell my clients, especially because I'll work with a lot of retirees, is, is your financial advisor looking out for your retirement or their retirement? And that's something that has to be thought of. At your age, are you diversified properly? Are you in the place where you should be? Now, any financial advisor worth their weight in gold will tell you that the financial pyramid starts with life insurance. And the financial pyramid, anyone that doesn't know, is a pyramid that starts just like any pyramid, but shows from the bottom, which is the most secure part, the base, starts with secure products that are guaranteed, and that's life insurance, and works its way up to the pyramid of investing in pure stocks and ETFs and commodities that are very risky. Although they earn you some high return, they also come with a little risk. So if someone says, Bobby, and a financial advisor says, Bobby, I can make 5-6%, that's nothing for my clients. I can make that on their money. We're making 9-10%. The difference is they're making you more. In some cases, they're making you more money. In some cases, they're losing you money, but they're doing that while they're risking your money. When we talk about the insurance side, there is no risk to your money. So the money that you put into an annuity is 100% guaranteed. The money that you're putting into life insurance, you can't lose every year because the economy's gone up or down, or housing prices have changed, or unemployment is going up. Your money is your money. It sits in an account and earns tax-free interest. And when you're ready to start living off that money, whether you want that as a retirement for the rest of your life, you can't outlive it. So we can give you money you won't outlive. It's basically creating an annuity for yourself, or like a Social Security or a pension.
No, Bobby. Cool, man. Dude, this is super helpful. It was very informative.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And best thing I can tell people is just be open, really. Just be open to hearing other ideas outside of what you've always known. It's those people that what we call outliers, right? Outliers in society that go to the edges and do things, right? Like Bill Gates, like him or hate the guy, he's got long-term care insurance for him and his whole family. Does he need it? No, he doesn't need it. But smart people make smart decisions, right?
Dude, Bill Gates was in the Outliers book, man. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's a great book. But in general, those guys have life insurance. That's how they pass money. They shelter money inside of life insurance and pass it to their next generation. And the next generation does the same thing. A lot of presidents of the United States in the past have used life insurance to shelter their assets and pass it to the next generation.
Well, what's so interesting? So you brought up a good point, and one of the things that I think is super important that we don't often talk about is it's always like, okay, who has an interest in making money from you when you're making decisions about something that's financial? I can't tell you how often I'll run into conversations with somebody's financial planner that's telling me or kind of contradicting maybe what we're seeing in the market or what we think we're going to be able to do to help somebody, because the financial planner just doesn't want to give up what that is. Like I work with a fiduciary who I give them a monthly and that's it, right? And I like that. It fits for my model, because then I'm not worried about him telling me one thing or another if he's lining his pockets over here versus over here. I just want to know straight up, like what's the real deal. I think that piece, that's why more people don't know about it, is because more people have a financial planner than they have a life insurance person, right? So
Yeah, and recently I actually reached out to one of my financial advisors I work with, Tanasi, and I sent him an illustration of a life case just to give him perspective of, hey, here's what we can do right now inside these type of policies. I mean, I'm showing people that if you invest, over a 20-year period of time, if you invest $250,000 in retirement, I can get you, depending on your age, but I can get you somewhere around 2.5 million back in income in retirement.
Right
so over the next 20 years, you're going to invest $250,000, but I'm going to get you a return of about $2.5 million as a retirement income. And we're talking about a long play. We're talking about 20 years, right? But that's what life insurance is. I am not the get rich quick guy. So if someone comes and says, look, I want to put a couple thousand a month, and a couple of years I want to, accumulate enough to take that money out, they need a financial advisor. They need stocks, mutual funds, bonds, whatever it is that you want to invest in what we call, the variable market. When you want to deal with the fixed market, which is what I deal with, safe money, it's a long-term play. I need 10, 50, 20, 25 years to put this money aside and allow it to grow and flourish in that tax-free retirement account.
That makes sense.
Time. Yeah, it's time.
Time. Right on, man. Well, cool. Bobby, thanks for sharing your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Anything I can do to help you or anybody out there with questions, I'd love to. Buying insurance is not always the answer, and I tell people that. It's something that needs to be looked at inside of any healthy retirement portfolio, right? Your retirement portfolio consists of your investments, your real estate, and your insurance. That's really how people retire. It's those three things that work together to have a healthy retirement.
Yeah, no, dude, thanks, brother. I mean, I appreciate you sharing this knowledge with us, because I know some of these things I had a lot of questions about, and I'm still interested in that whole life and seeing how that works. Cool, man. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you, man. Thanks for your time. And, let's all stay safe out there and get to 2021 and try to enjoy a new world.
For sure. I'll put your information up after this too, so people can get in touch with you and contact you.
Awesome. Thank you.